loans, businesses, and the treatment of slaves. Law number 230. Do not demand repayment of a loan after the 7th year. Deuteronomy 15 verse 2. This is the form of the release. Every creditor who has lent to his brother shall cancel the loan he has made. He shall not press his brother for payment, for a release has been proclaimed in honor of Yahweh, Yahweh's release. Law number 231. Do not refuse to lend to the poor because the 7th year is approaching. Deuteronomy 15 verse 9. Be careful not to think this evil thought, the 7th year, the year for canceling debts, is very near, and then you have no compassion on your needy brother and give him nothing. He then just might appeal to Yahweh, and the evil your brother is suffering will come upon you. Law number 232. Do not deny help to the poor. Deuteronomy 15 verse 7. If there is a poor brother living within any cities in the land Yahweh your father has given you, you must not harden your heart nor be tight-fisted toward your poor brother. Law number 233. Do not send a Hebrew slave away empty-handed when he finishes his period of service. Deuteronomy 15 verse 13. And when he is released from you, you must not let him go away empty-handed. Law number 234. Do not demand interest on a loan to a brother. Exodus 22 verse 25. If you lend money to one of my people among you who is needy, do not be like a moneylender, charge him no interest. Law number 235. Do not lend to a brother with interest. Leviticus 25 verse 37. You shall not lend him your money for usury, nor lend him your food at a profit. Law number 236. Do not borrow from a brother with interest. Deuteronomy 23 verse 19 through 20. You must not charge interest to your brother, interest on money, food, or anything else that may earn interest. You may charge interest to a foreigner, but to your brother you must not charge interest, so that Yahweh your father may bless you in all that you set your hand to do in the land you are entering to possess. Law number 237. Do not participate in a loan to a brother with interest. Exodus 22 verse 25. If you lend money to one of my people among you who is needy, do not be like a moneylender. Charge him no interest. Law number 238. Do not withhold the wages of a hired man beyond the agreed time. Leviticus 19 verse 13. You shall not defraud your brother nor rob him. Do not hold back the wages of a hired man overnight. Law number 239. Do not take security on a loan by force. Deuteronomy 24 verse 10 to 11. When you make a loan of any kind to your brother, do not go into his house to get what he is offering as security. You shall stand outside and let the man bring the security out to you. Law number 240. Do not keep a poor man's security on a loan when he needs it. Deuteronomy 24 verse 12 to 13. If the man is poor, you must not hold his cloak security overnight. You must in this case return his cloak to him before the sun goes down, so he may sleep in his own garment. Then he will bless you, and it shall be accounted to you as righteousness in front of Yahweh your father. Law number 241. Do not take any security on a loan from a widow. Deuteronomy 24 verse 17. You must not pervert the justice due to stranger or the fatherless, nor shall you take the cloak of the widow as security. Law number 242. Do not take a man's livelihood as security on a loan. Deuteronomy 24 verse 6. Do not take an upper millstone or a lower millstone as security for a debt, because that would be taking a man's living as security. Law number 243. Do not kidnap anyone. Exodus 21 verse 16. And he who kidnaps a man and sells him, or if he is found in his possession, shall surely be put to death. Law number 244. Do not steal. Exodus 20 verse 15. You shall not steal. Law number 245. Do not rob by violence. Leviticus 19 verse 13. You shall not defraud your brother nor rob him. Do not hold back the wages of a hired man overnight. Law number 246. Do not remove a landmark or alter land boundaries. Deuteronomy 19 verse 14. You must not remove your brother's landmark which your predecessors have set in your inheritance, which you will inherit in the land Yahweh your father has given you. Law number 247. Do not defraud anyone. Leviticus 19 verse 13. You shall not defraud your brother nor rob him. Do not hold back the wages of a hired man overnight. Law number 248. Do not deal falsely with anyone. Leviticus 19 verse 11. You shall not steal, nor deal falsely, nor lie one to another. Law number 249. Do not vow falsely regarding another man's property. Leviticus 19 verse 11. You shall not steal, nor deal falsely, nor lie one to another. Leviticus 6 verse 2. If a person sins and commits a trespass against Yahweh by lying to his brother about what was delivered to him for safekeeping, or about a pledge, or about a robbery, or if he has deceived and extorted from his brother. Law number 250. Do not oppress one another in business. Leviticus 25 verse 14. And if you sell anything to your brother or buy from your brother's hand, you shall not oppress one another. Law number 251. Do not take advantage of one another. Leviticus 25 verse 17. Do not take advantage of each other, thereby reverencing your father, for I am Yahweh, your heavenly Father. Law number 252. Do not mistreat a stranger. Exodus 22 verse 21. You shall neither mistreat nor oppress a stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Law number 253. Do not oppress a stranger in business. Exodus 22 verse 21. You shall neither mistreat nor oppress a stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Law number 254. Do not return a slave who has fled from God worship. Deuteronomy 23 verse 15. If a slave has escaped from his owner to take refuge with you, do not hand him back over to his owner. Law number 255. Do not oppress or take advantage of a slave who has fled from God worship. Deuteronomy 23 verse 16. He may live among you wherever he chooses, in your cities, or where it seems best to him. You must not oppress him. Law number 256. Do not take advantage of widows and orphans. Exodus 22 verse 22. You shall not take advantage of any widow or orphan. Law number 257. Do not treat a brother as a forced slave with no hope for redemption. Leviticus 25 verse 39. If one of your brothers becomes poor among you and sells himself to you, do not make him work as a slave. Law number 258. Do not sell a brother as a slave to strangers. Leviticus 25 verse 42. Because the children of Israel are my servants, whom I brought out of Egypt, they must not be sold as slaves. Law number 259. Do not treat a Hebrew slave ruthlessly. Leviticus 25 verse 43. You shall not rule over him ruthlessly, but you shall reverence your heavenly Father. Law number 260. Do not allow a foreigner to mistreat a Hebrew slave. Leviticus 25 verse 47 and 53. If a sojourner or stranger among you becomes rich, and one of your brothers becomes poor and sells himself to the sojourner or stranger among you, he is to be treated as a man hired from year to year. You must see to it that his owner does not rule over him ruthlessly. Law number 261. Do not sell a Hebrew maidservant to strangers. Exodus 21 verse 8. If she does not please her owner who has betrothed her to himself, then he shall let her be redeemed. He shall have no right to sell her to strangers because he has broken faith with her. Law number 262. Do not deprive a wife or any family member of food, clothing, and their own shelter. Exodus 21 verse 10. If he marries another woman, he must not deprive the first one of her food, clothing, and marital rights. Law number 263. Do not sell a female captive as a forced slave. Deuteronomy 21 verse 14. But if you are not pleased with her, let her go wherever she desires. But you certainly shall not sell her for money, nor treat her like a slave because you have humbled her. Law number 264. Do not treat a female captive as a forced slave. Deuteronomy 21 verse 14. But if you are not pleased with her, let her go wherever she desires. But you certainly shall not sell her for money, nor treat her like a slave because you have humbled her. Law number 265. Do not covet another person's possessions. Exodus 20 verse 17. You shall not covet lust after your brother's house. You shall not covet your brother's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, nor anything that belongs to your brother. Law number 266. Do not covet the possessions of God worshippers. Deuteronomy 7 verse 25. You must burn the images of their gods, Elohim, Teraphim, in the fire. You must not covet, lust after the silver or gold that covers them, nor take it for yourselves, or you will be ensnared and entrapped by it, for it is an abomination to Yahweh your Father. Law number 267. A hired worker must not harvest a brother's grain for himself. Deuteronomy 23, verse 25. When you enter into your brother's standing grain, you may pick kernels with your hands, but you must not put a sickle to his standing grain. Law number 268. A hired worker must not take more produce than he can eat. Deuteronomy 23, verse 24. When you enter into your brother's vineyard, you may eat all the grapes you please, but you must not put any in any container. Law number 269. Do not fail to return a lost article to its owner. Deuteronomy 22, verse 1 to 3. You shall not see your brother's ox or sheep straying away and ignore it. Be sure to take it back to your brother. If your brother does not live near you, or if you do not know who he is, then take it home with you and keep it until he comes looking for it, then give it back to him. You shall do the same for his donkey, for his garment, or for anything else your brother has lost and you have found. You must not ignore it. Law number 270. Do not refuse to help a man or an animal which is collapsing under its burden. Exodus 23, verse 5. If you see the donkey of someone who hates you lying under its burden, and you might refrain from helping it, you shall surely help him with it. Deuteronomy 22, verse 4. You shall not see your brother's donkey or his ox falling on the road and ignore it. Be sure to help it get to its feet. Law number 271. Do not use dishonest weights and measures. Leviticus 19, verse 35. Do not use dishonest standards when measuring length, weight, or quantity. Law number 272. Do not possess inaccurate weights and measures. Deuteronomy 25, verse 13 to 14. Do not have two different weights in your bag, one light and one heavy. Do not have two different measures in your house, one small and one large.